this is the first part that I want you guys to look at. This is what essentially happened in the Brown versus Board of Education court case. So what do you guys know about Brown versus Board of Education? Anything?
Isn't that where they wanted to desegregate the schools?
Exactly. Desegregate the schools. Remember we talked about Plessy versus Ferguson yesterday? And we talked about how Plessy versus Ferguson said it was okay to have separate schools or segregated schools
As long as they were both equal.
as long as they were equal. So the white school had to be just as good as the black school and vice versa. Was that happening? No, this court case was in 1896. This case was in what year, just looking at this?
It was 1994.
1954. Nice. Good. Okay, so what I want you guys to look about this article in the first place, what source did I get this from? Yeah, from PBS. Good. Do you see the highlighted words?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about those highlighted words before we dig into the article. Okay? So the first one is unanimously. What do you guys think unanimously means?
Randomly.
Randomly. Interesting. Anybody else?
That they all agree.
Okay. More so that they all agree. Yes. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, it definitely is complete agreement. Okay? What I want you to do is flip your paper over onto the back side where it's white. And I just want you to write unanimously. And then either draw a picture or write a couple words to help you understand what unanimously means. Okay, now what I'm going to have you guys do is look at the front, the article again. I'm going to read it out loud to you guys. I want you to read along with me. Okay? We're just going to go paragraph by paragraph. So we're just going to focus on this first paragraph. Read along with me, please. On May 17, 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled unanimously that racial segregation in public schools violated the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which says that no state may deny equal protection of the laws, to any person within its jurisdiction. The 1954 decision declared that separate educational facilities were inherently unequal. Following a series of Supreme Court cases argued between 1938 and 1950 that chipped away at legalized segregation, Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka reversed an earlier Supreme Court ruling, Plessy versus Ferguson, that permitted separate but equal public facilities. The 1954 decision was limited to the public schools, but it was believed to imply that segregation was not permissible in other public facilities. The key phrase in the ruling delivered by Chief Justice Earl Warren was as follows. Now, I'm going to take a break before I read that, what Chief Justice Warren said, okay? In that paragraph with the people at your table, I want you guys to pick out 10, I want you to describe what that paragraph said in 10 words.
Declared that separate educational facilities were inherently unequal. Following a series of Supreme Court cases in the 1930s, it should be legalized.
Right. And why do they want it? I don't know if it said that. Well, who didn't want it? Who didn't want it?
So the court wanted.
The black people, because segregation is separate, right? So, remember the court case, Plessy versus Ferguson, all schools were separate. They wanted separate schooling for children. Yeah, exactly. And also, would you guys agree, what else did they want besides the schooling?
They wanted
Right on this one.
other public
Yeah.
places.
Exactly, so we're talking about drinking fountains and movie theaters and restaurants. All the stuff that we talked about before would now be done. So yeah, this perfectly makes sense.
I think it was 11.
Nice, that's okay. I'm gonna give you that 11 for you, okay?
Okay.
What do you guys think? Go ahead and say it.
African Americans continue to fight for equal rights in schools and other public facilities.
Okay, awesome. All of you guys, each group had exactly the same thing. You guys pulled out what was really important, which was, say it out loud for us, please.
African Americans continue to fight for equal rights in schools and other public facilities.
So that's what the Brown versus the Board of Education was all about, you guys. They wanted to make sure that schools and other public facilities would be segregated, or would be desegregated, okay? Equal facilities working together.
In 1950, Bishop attempted to get 11 young African American students admitted to the newly completed John Philip Sousa Junior High School. They were turned away. Although the school had several empty classrooms, Charles Hamilton Houston, the special counsel to the NAACP, provided legal representation for the group. James Narbut Jr., a colleague from Howard University, replaced Houston when he became ill. Narbut did not present evidence that
Yeah. Can you imagine? You see the bus go by your house a couple times and nothing changes. Okay, what case did you guys have?
Davis versus County School Board.
Okay, so what happened in this case?
They made 450 African Americans participated in a 2 weeks protest for assistance from the NAACP because they believed that they had deprived them of equal educational opportunities.
Good. Okay, so this was a successful case, right? Not all of them were successful necessarily, but things did change. Now, what a couple of the cases did offer is, okay, we're not gonna desegregate schools, but we will mandate that the school districts say, okay, we're going to, you have to equalize African American schools or facilities. Wait, was your case the case where they just shut down the schools? I can't remember.
It said Prince Edward County schools remained closed for 5 years.
Okay, so what they did instead of integrating, when the court said, yeah, you better integrate or,
They just shut
not
the schools
integrate,
down.
but like make equal facilities, they said, okay, yeah, that's what we'll do. But what they did was just shut down the school. So then all these African American children didn't have any place to go to school, because they couldn't go at the white schools. So instead of addressing the needs that they had, they just closed them. So Lincoln High School is closed. And you're gonna have to figure out, I mean, where are you gonna go to school? The high school is not going to take you back. What are you gonna do? What could you do today? You could go to online schooling, right? They didn't have that option. The internet was not even thought of. It was not even a conception in somebody's mind probably in 1950. You guys have some options, but it's very rare that they would have had those options back then. And moving to another state may not have been an option either.
Might
Okay.
not have the money to do that.
What's that?
They might not have had the money to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. When isn't money an issue, right? And in this world, in that world back then, people had problems. Significant thing, you guys, desegregating schools. Desegregating? Yeah, desegregating.
Yeah.
And this picture, I love this picture. What does it say to you?
What does it say?
High court and segregation in public schools.
So, the Supreme Court, the highest court in all of the land, rules that separate but equal is unconstitutional. So Plessy versus Ferguson is out the door, for sure. Now, they have Plessy versus Ferguson. Like, oh my gosh, this sucks, I can't believe this is happening. No, like what kind of expression did they have on their face?
Like they're relieved.
They're relieved. They're happy. I think it's the sweetest picture. It's a very famous picture. I think it's so sweet because it's like this mom who has been following this and fighting this for so long is looking at her daughter thinking, life is gonna be different. This is a major, major step. And I hope that, like, as we learn about civil rights, this is just a start. This is like, you know, the first step up a giant hill. Because there's gonna be a whole lot of things that have to happen in order for life to really change. I mean, we know today that everything isn't equal, right? Currently, we still have issues. We've talked about those before, okay? What I want you guys to do now is to think about, this is you doing your individual work. You're no longer gonna work with your partner, okay? I want you, this is what I need you to do. I'm gonna read it with you. Just follow along so that you know that I know you're understanding. Did you hear me over that?
Yeah.
The information and researching all the stuff that we just talked about, Brown versus Board of Education, and hearing about the hard work that Linda Brown and others had to come up from. I want you to, first of all, think about a time in your life that you overcame a very difficult situation. How did you feel? What did you have to do to get away from that situation or to change that situation? Think about what you personally had to do. I want you to explain, think about the situation in its entirety and how you triumphed in the end. Okay? Look at B. Or you can think about something you are very passionate about. What is it first? Why are you passionate about it? Is it something that you feel other people should experience or also be passionate about? Why or why not? If not passionate necessarily, do you feel like they should be involved still? So you are making this extremely personal. This is going to be very different for every single person, I would assume. Okay?
Could it be on anything or something that relates to what we just did?
It can be any one of these two that I just read. Anything that you've overcome or anything that you feel really passionate about. Okay? Now what I want you to do as you're thinking about this stuff, I want you to pick one and then I want you to either draw or sketch so that I can understand what you experienced,
You want us
okay?
to do it
Either
down
your
here?
passion or your triumph.
Want us to do it on the bottom of this or on here?
If you draw or sketch, hold on one second, okay? Let me just go through them. You could make up a dance. If you're into dancing or something, or you want to build a model that's like a 3D model, you could do that. You could write a song or find a song or music that expresses your passion or expresses your triumph, okay, or your difficulty. And then if you find a song that does that, I want you to give me your explanation of why that song expresses, mentions exactly who you are or how you're feeling, okay? You could write a narrative and just explain to me the situation in written words, okay? Or if you have some other idea that you would like to do, please just ask me about it. Let's talk about it, okay? So you only need to pick one, A or B, but if you do want to do more, if you want to do both. Okay. That's fine. You're still working on it. I thought about that.
How long do you want this to be, like, if we write it?
Are you doing a narrative?
I'm gonna do a song.
Okay. Just as long as I can understand, there's no page requirement or anything.
Okay, could I?
If you can answer it and truly help me to understand it, then it won't matter the
Alright.
length.
Do you ever put headphones like these real quick?
I don't. I don't have any
Yeah.
headphones.
Could I get my phone so I can listen to this song real quick?
Yes. Would you, you're doing a narrative? Which one are you focusing on? What you overcame?
Yeah.
Like what we talked about before?
No, this one's how it's been hard for me and my mom to live without my dad.
Awesome. Cool. But you have triumphed over it because you're
I
here,
never
right?
knew him, yeah.
Yeah.